Hello and welcome to our UiPath online RPA series. Suppose you are interested and you want to buy an iPhone from Lazada. So you're going to open Microsoft Edge, type in the Lazada website, search in for iPhone 17. And perhaps you want to sort the price from high to low, scrape the data, have an Excel sheet to see which are the best deals you can have. So let's see how UiPath Studio can automate this workflow for us. Before we start in UiPath Studio, we need to make sure that one prerequisite is fulfilled. And that prerequisite is to go to Microsoft Edge and open the extensions tab. Manage the extensions and scroll down. Make sure that the UiPath browser automation extension is enabled. Now let's start automate. We will always start our first activity with sequence. Search for sequence if you don't find it and drag this activity into your working area. This activity does absolutely nothing, but it helps you to classify and section different parts of your workflow. So remember that in this use case, you want to first go to Lazada, search for iPhone 17 Air, and then scrape the items found in Lazada. So we know that we are going to have two sequences later. Because when your workflow gets very long, you may not know what this section of your workflows does and what this section of your workflows does. So I'm helping you learn the best practices at the very start. Now, the second best practice we need to do is to annotate our workflows. For the same reason to help us to know what this activity is doing. So to annotate a workflow, you can just click on the activity, right click and press rename. Or you can just click on the workflow and press F2 on your keyboard. And then annotate it like this. Go to Lazada and search for product. When we do automation, we always want to follow in parallel how the process would be done manually. The first step is to open Microsoft Edge. How can we get UiPath to open Microsoft Edge? There is an activity that does that. It is called Open Application. So search for Open Application in the search bar here, and you will see it under Classic. Drag and drop it. Again, annotate it. F2, right arrow, Microsoft Edge. There are two things we need to settle first. The first one is the selector. The selector helps the robot know that the application that I am going to talk to is active upon opening it. You can set the selector by clicking on the sandwich button and click Edit Selector. Next, click on Indicate Element and go to Microsoft Edge. Now, if you need time to open it up and you can see the selector is blocking you, just click on F2 and you will have a few seconds to open Microsoft Edge. Now, you see the whole screen is green, click on it, and the whole selector is given to you. Your title may be different from mine, but it's important to change this to a star. Once you are done, you will see that now this is a question mark. Click on validate, and if it turns green, that's great. It means that UiPath says that, okay, this selector is a valid one, but you don't know whether it is selecting the correct thing. So if you press highlight, let's try that again. Press highlight, and you can see that the browser is highlighted in red now. So you know that it's selecting the correct thing. Press OK. The second thing we need to tell this activity is where in the world Microsoft Edge is located in your device. This is in the input file name. So click on this expansion button because it's going to be very hard to type inside here. So click on this expansion button and we are going to type in the file path to Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge is an executable file called msh.exe. Type So go and open your file location and you will see this open now. So we want to give UiPath the file path
to this executable file. Right click on this properties, and you can see that this whole file path is what we want plus msh.exe. So copy that, paste this in UiPath Studio /msh.exe. Now this input is expecting a string, and all strings must be enclosed in double quotation marks at the start and at the end. You will see that the whole thing will turn red once you have keyed in that properly. When you're done, press save. Let's do unit testing, which means once you are done with something, when you're done making an activity, we run it and make sure that it works. To run your activity, click on this drop down and press run. So Microsoft Edge has opened and the UiPath has successfully run it. What is the next step? The next step is to go to Microsoft Edge and type in the Lazada website. So normally you will click here, but there is a shortcut. Instead of clicking, you can press Ctrl L, and that will change your cursor to the search bar. So type in Lazada. I am from Singapore, so my website is lazada.sg. Enter. Okay, so let's do that part of the activity. Cancel this. Now let's search for send hotkey and find it in the classic, drag and drop here. Remember the first thing that we did was Ctrl L. So click on Ctrl and in the key, type in L. The next thing we want to do is to type in lazada.sg. But there is a faster way to do that than typing it one by one. That is, you first save the link to the clipboard. So set to clipboard, type in the URL to Lazada, https://lazada.sg. And this must be enclosed in strings. And you will see that it is red. Annotate your workflow, Lazada URL. Now the last thing is to paste this into the search bar. So send hotkey, search for send hotkey. Drag and drop below. Paste to search bar. Control V. We are missing one more thing. Send hotkey and press enter. So now we are done with one large part of the workflow. Let's test it out. So click on run and let's see whether it's going to behave like what we are expecting. Great. So now that we are in Lazada, this means that these 4 activities are correct. So the next thing is to go to the Lazada search box and type in iPhone 17 Air and press this search bar. So set to clipboard, quotation marks, iPhone 17 Air. And the next thing is to paste it into the search bar. So send hotkey, Control V. Now how does UiPath know where is the search bar? That requires your robot to talk to this search bar, and that requires a selector. So click on the sandwich icon, edit selector, indicate element, and click on this one. Okay. Next thing, click. And the next thing we want to do is to click on this button. The activity is called click. Make sure that it is under classic, UI automation, element, mouse, click. Annotate it, Lazada, search bar. Same thing, sandwich, edit selector, indicate element, and click on this. Okay. We are going to run our workflow, but as you can see, we have Microsoft Edge open now. We always want to have one instance of Microsoft Edge open. If you have many tabs on, it's going to be very messy and sometimes your robot may hallucinate. So ensure that you only have one instance of Microsoft Edge on. So close it and run the robot. Great. Now we have done with the first part of the workflow, which is to go to Lazada and search for iPhone 17 Air. The next thing you want to do is to scrape the data. But perhaps it wouldn't be quite meaningful if we just scrape the data. We want to sort the price from high to low. Let's do that. So sequence. So let's go back here. So we need two clicks. The first click is to click on sort by, and the second click is to click on price high to low. So let's prepare two clicks. The first one is sort by. Edit selector, indicate element, click on this, the whole thing. And the next one, click high to low. Now you can't click on high to low without clicking on the first one, so you need some time to reconfigure. Click on F2 and it'll give you some time to set the state of your browser and click on high to low. Close, run. Great, it has done what we wanted. So that is the first part, to go to Lazada, search for the products and sort it by high to low. The next thing we want to do is to scrape all this data. So type in sequence. Scrape products. To scrape the products, we need to use an activity called table extraction. That is a special activity which is not found here, but it is actually at the top here. Table extraction. Click on table extraction. So how do we scrape all this data and have it in an Excel sheet? So first we need to decide what are the important information that we want. Let's do this. Let's scrape the name, the price, and of course the URL, so that when we are doing our analysis, we can just go to the product from the URL instantly. So click on the name and it will collect the information. Click on text, change this to name. Press confirm. Select data to extract, click on the price, collect target information, change the name of the column to price, and the last one is the URL. Select the URL. Confirm. Now do you see this button? Extract data from multiple pages. As you can see, there are more than one page, and you want the robot to know how do I navigate the next page. So click on this button and it will find where is my next button, which is here. Save and close. Now this is expecting a URL, but we have already pre-configured that because we have typed in everything and we went to the correct URL ourselves in our previous activity. So here you can just give it a null expression, which is called nothing, and give this nothing. Now you can see that the interaction mode Chromium API should only be used on Chromium. That means change this to simulate. Now, there is one more thing we need to do. We don't want our board to scrape all 102 pages. That will take quite long. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to limit the extraction to the maximum of 4 pages. The last thing we need to do, remember that this activity needs to talk to Microsoft Edge. That means that we need to provide it with a selector. Now the sandwich button is not here, I know that, but the selector expression is actually here. And you can see that there's no indicate element. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to be lazy, okay? I'm going to be lazy because since this is already, we already found the selector for this previously. Go to the earlier activity, click on this button, edit selector. I'm just going to steal it from here. I'm just going to steal to get the selector from the previous activity. Going back here, click on selector and paste it here. And close this in double quotation mark. Let's run it. So you can see that it's going to the next page, and there we go. It has scraped our products. But where do we get our scrape data? That's the thing. We haven't prepared that yet. If you go to the data manager and you click here, you will see that there is this variable called extract data table. And that is because in this extract table data activity, we are going to have an output data table that stores all the scrape data. I would say that this naming convention is not the optimal one, because if we are following good variable naming conventions, if the data type is a data table, we always prepend dt underscore before it. And even this is not good enough. Extract data table does not tell us what this data table is for. We are extracting products, so perhaps a better name for this is extracted products. So now if a future developer sees this variable in the data manager, and there are so many variables, they will know that dt underscore extracted products refers to this particular activity. We are still missing one more step. We need to save this data table somewhere we can read it. That would be in the form of an Excel sheet. So there is this activity called write range workbook, and you can't find it. So search it in available packages, type in Excel, click on this, and install. Press save. And now the activity should be, and now you can find this activity, drag and drop here. The data table would be dt underscore extracted products, but you don't have to type the whole thing because it's here, so you can just click it. Okay, the workbook path, we will just focus on the name of the file. So this is expecting a string, so let's just call it extracted products. And let's not forget the file extension, .xlsx for Excel files. Say, the sheet name, let's use the default sheet 1. And what is our starting cell? Starting cell, that would be A1. All of these are in double quotation marks. So run, okay. Okay, the run has been complete. So where exactly is our file? Click on this button for Explorer. Right click here and press Open Project Folder. You can see that the file is over here. Open it and your script data is over here. This is the end of the web automation.